Hello? I'm truly grateful to have you here for another moment of pause and contemplation on Fragments of Stillness. This space offers no ready-made answers, only more honest questions. And a slower time, where you can simply breathe and feel. If you appreciate deep reflections, symbolic narratives, and sincere connections with life's uncertainties, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Here, we meet every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. Beginning the day with presence and inner clarity. Today's theme touches something universal, regardless of age, situation, or how carefully we've made our plans. We're going to talk about the unexpected. Those moments when life simply changes the script. The phone call we didn't expect. The news that turns everything upside down. The canceled plan, the breakup, the layoff, the detour we never asked for. And when that happens, we often feel as if the ground beneath us has vanished. Our routines collapse. The future feels blurred. The present weighs heavily, out of rhythm. It's natural to resist. The mind asks, what went wrong? But perhaps that's the wrong question. What if instead we asked, what is trying to be born now that everything has come undone? Because sometimes, it is the collapse that clears the space for what truly matters to emerge. Through a short story, I invite you to reflect on the kinds of wisdom that only appear when everything falls out of place. In a quiet village among the mountains, there lived a young stonemason known for his discipline and dedication. Every day, he followed the same narrow path to reach the nearby city, where he built homes. It was a winding, rugged trail, but he knew it by heart. There was pride in mastering that route, in knowing that no matter what happened, it would always be there. Until one morning, after a violent storm, he woke to find the path had collapsed. A huge portion of the hillside had caved in. The trail was simply gone. He tried to climb. He searched for shortcuts. He called for help. Nothing worked. Defeated, he sat down. And for the first time in his life, he felt something unfamiliar, the fear of not knowing which way to go. That's when an old gardener from the village appeared and said, "You've lost the ground, but you've gained the chance to see what it was hiding." He pointed to a small detour, once hidden by overgrowth. It was a longer, steeper, unfamiliar path, but it led to a forgotten lookout point high above the city. With no other choice, the mason followed. He stumbled. He doubted himself. But when he reached the top, he saw something he'd never seen before. The entire city glowing in golden light, the wide sky above, the hush of the world below. And within himself, a clarity that he didn't know he carried. Yes, the path had collapsed, but maybe that was the only way he would ever have discovered this other view, and this other version of himself. This simple story touches a deep and often uncomfortable truth. We spend so much of our lives trying to control what happens, building routines, mapping out our futures, organizing each detail. And when something slips out of place, we feel as if we've failed. But perhaps the plan hasn't failed. Perhaps it's simply finished. Perhaps life, with its silent wisdom, knows when a path no longer serves us, and lets it fall away. The collapsed trail in the story isn't a punishment. It's a turning point. And the chaos that follows? It's not the end. It's an invitation to look sideways, to go deeper, to discover what we would never have seen had things gone as planned. The unexpected is not our enemy. It is a teacher that arrives uninvited, unannounced, and unrefined. Its greatest lesson is this: some truths only bloom in the soil of uncertainty. Sometimes we must lose the path to discover we have wings. Sometimes we must let a plan die so a more honest one can emerge. Sometimes we must be quiet long enough to hear what's always been waiting inside us. You've lived this, haven't you? A moment when everything seemed clear. And then, suddenly, it wasn't. Maybe you didn't ask for this change. Maybe something ended without your consent. Or perhaps the interruption felt unfair, harsh, or untimely. And you found yourself lost, trying to gather the pieces, trying to understand how to live from that point on. But here's something important. You are still here. And the fact that you're listening to this reflection may be proof that you survived the storm. Perhaps you even learned something you never could have learned if things had stayed the same. Sometimes life must fall apart, so it can be rebuilt in a way that's more aligned with who you've become. The unexpected strips us of control. But in that rawness, we meet our true selves. Not the self we planned, but the self that is real. If this story and reflection spoke to something inside you, if you've ever been through a moment where everything unraveled, leave a comment. Sometimes naming our experience is the first step to healing. And if you know someone facing a moment like this, share this video. A gentle story can bring comfort in times of chaos. Here on Fragments of Stillness, we publish new reflections every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and be part of this space of slowness, truth, and deep seeing. Thank you for being here. And remember, the unexpected may change the course, but it can also reveal landscapes you never imagined.